Awesome. Right. So let's get right back into it. All right. So Rene graduated from the University of Toronto in software engineering, and he worked for IBM and TELUS, and he was earning $80,000 a year salary. He was introduced by his sister, and now the company's youngest millionaire. He is a lifestyle director who qualified for the luxury car program and drives a prepaid luxury car from the company, a $200,000 Tesla P90D. A huge step up from what he was earning every year, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, so we all know that this is extremely possible. He has reached 100,000 a month in earning, and more shockingly, with only 7,000 people in his team. His team has now grown to over 28,000 people in over 100 countries around the world. He is happily married after proposing to his wife, Heidi, with a $47,000 Ferry Mosh 21-karat gold ring, now worth $80,000, with 2 young boys, Rex and Leon, and is able to travel the world with his family. He just made a recent purchase building his custom $5 million home, and he's here to support us and train us. Rene is a founding member, a shareholder, and he sits on the company's CEO advisory board. He also received the highest award in the company, the President's Cup, twice. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn this call over to Mr. Rene Liao, our youngest millionaire, who's ready and extremely excited to bring this training to you. Let me share my screen. And
thank you, Rene, Tony, for the kind introduction.
Over to you.
And again, yes. Again, a very, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone on the call today. Happy Saturday morning as well too. And of course, just wanted to say that I'm very excited to be able to do this training with you all today. And actually, before we dive into this training, I have a question that I want to ask all of you, of course, on the call today, which is, why do you think it's important that we have this training called the next 30 days? All right, so it's some interaction here. I love it, of course, when we have people writing their comments in the chat box. I feel that you learn a lot more and sticks a lot more when you do have that interaction with me. So yeah, this is your answers here, team. Why do you think it's important that not only you learn this training called the next 30 days, but at the same time, you can also share this with all of your new partners. So let's see what we have here. Yes. I love the answers. So yeah, no matter where you are, sometimes if you're down, of course, and you're not where you want to be in this business, imagine you fired yourself from your business and that you got started again, just like today. And sometimes you might be there. You might be in a situation where perhaps you weren't quite focused the last few weeks, few months, or few years, many years, right? And yet you're seeing other people having success, and you want to have that same success for yourself now, and you're wondering, well, where do I start, right? And again, this is where this document is number one. One of the benefits is, yes, it can give you that nice little kickstart. And the funny thing is, I'm going to be curious to see how many of you that are on today's training will realize that you actually never did some of the things that are being taught, of course, in this next 30 days training, right? Okay, so that definitely is one important reason why this training is important. I saw briefly as well here, another one is that you want to motivate your team. That's actually very interesting. And it really does go way beyond that, way beyond just motivating your team, right? How many of you, just really quickly, just say yes or no. How many of you had to study for many, many years before, or even train in something before you can do your job, right? So how many of you have gone to high school or gone off to college or university? You did all this training you're essentially training, right? And you spend at least what 4 or 5 years in high school, another 4 years or so in university or college, and if you're doing a post degree, master's or a PhD or an MBA, something like that, you're spending all these years, and you're actually paying for this training. You're paying for your university, and you're paying for your masters or your PhDs or your MBAs, and in order to one day find something that's going to pay you. So you're actually investing all of this time into training, right? And so one of the things that I always try to remind all of my new partners and teams is that when you're new in this business, you can't just kind of assume that you know everything, right? And if you try to do things your own way, well, what ends up happening is you're trying to reinvent the wheel, right? You're trying to reinvent the wheel again. And why would you do that? Why would you try to go through all the ups and downs when the work, right? So with this training is if you want to do it the way, and you want to be able to build yourself a team that duplicates, that can become independent, and can beyond that teach their people to duplicate, and those people teach their people to duplicate, right? I think you see where we're going with this training, because as our CEO always says, right? People don't duplicate. Not everyone needs to be like, Ifra, or like Maria, or like Ronan, or like Renee, or like Tony, right? And no one can, because we're all unique. We all have our different styles. So if people have a hard time copying us, then how can you duplicate? And that's where, again, by having a system that duplicates, that's how you build yourself, not just a few $1,000s per month business, but that's how you build yourself a multi-million-dollar business, right? So quick question here. How many of you, when you had a new partner get launched, did you walk them through this next 30 days training? Let's see here. How many of you? And for every single person, now I'm sure I'm gonna get some yeses and some nos. Another question is, how many of you yourself went through this next 30 days training? I'm still surprised sometimes when I meet new partners and they ask me some questions, and they're pretty basic questions, even though they've been in the business for quite some time now, right? And then I ask them, well, have you gone through, your prosperity book? Have you gone through the next 30 days training? And so the funny thing is that I end up meeting a lot of people that say, what's that? They're like, what's that? And that's
Hey, Renee, we're losing you a bit. I can see you're like walking into a building, but we're losing you a bit. Your voice is sticking up sometimes.
Oh, you know what happened was I was walking to my house and my voice was still stuck on my Bluetooth. So what part did you hear me till, Tony?
Just before you walked into the house.
Okay.
Just before you walked into the house.
Thank you. Yeah, I must be switching over to my laptop and it'd be a lot more easier. But yeah, so all I was trying to say was duplication. And I was asking a question: how many of you have ever, for example, launch someone or even yourself, and you didn't actually go through this training? So anyway, the key point I was trying to make was, I really do hope that every single time that you launch a new partner, okay, or if you know that your teams have new partners coming on board, to please make sure we try to follow this system.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So Tony, I think you'll see another version of me on the list. If you can make that one a panelist, then I can hop off of my cell phone here.
All right, sure, no problem. Give me a minute.
Yeah, let me just raise my hand so you should see my other one.
Found you.
Wonderful.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. So can you hear me loud and clear still? Can you hear
Yes,
me
I
loud and
can.
clear?
Perfect,
Wonderful.
perfect, perfect.
All right. So let's dive right into this training again. And again, every single new person you have in your team, let's just keep thinking, am I guiding them properly, right? If you want your new partners to hit the ground running, this is the way to do it. Okay. So let's turn to the next page here for the next 30 days training. And so number one is we do have, of course, the 10 commandments, right? And so if you have a new partner who might not be a lifestyle advisor, then the first thing you want to remind them, of course, is, well, you want to become a lifestyle advisor. There's the easy way of just launching as one. You can mentor your way there or sell your way there. And again, the reason being is because you can maximize your earning potential, maximize your buying power, you're going to be MGR share eligible, and of course, the first step to many, many benefits and rewards. On to the next commandment here. So again, you can see here that there are just a quick breakdown of the 3 ways of becoming a LA. Now, of course, you know that recently with our new systems, with the new LAP now, that once you are a BP, if you want to become an LA or an LA plus, you have to buy in again. Okay, so yeah, we just launched the LA plus recently. This has to be changed a little bit because you can go from LA to LAP, but from a BP to a LA, you need to actually purchase the whole package again. Okay, and on to the next screen here. So the second commandment, of course, and a really, really important one, is to set up your monthly smart buy. So quick question, right? Why is it important that our teams set up their smart buys? What does that do for you when your people have their smart buy set up? This is the answers here. So what happens for you when your team is on their smart buy? Yeah, you get CV, right? And of course, you get paid on CV. So again, what does CV stand for some of our new folks? What does CV stand for? It stands for, and it's a long word to type out. Thank you, commissionable volume, right? So it's the commission you will earn on the sales volume. That's commissionable volume. And so the more people that you have on your teams on their smart buys, well, that becomes your monthly residual income, right? Now, what's the benefit for your people to be on the smart buy? So if they're on smart buy, your benefit is you earn that residual income, right? What's their benefit for being on the monthly smart buy? What is Yes, so number one, they receive an extra 10% discount. They can choose, right, shopping credits or products. Okay. And there's one more item here. So they can get their discount, right? They can choose their products. What's the other key benefit for our partners to be on their smart buy? Well, because now they can also earn the residual income, right? If you're not paying the monthly 150 shopping credits or smart buy or products, then you won't be qualified to earning your own commissions. Okay. So on to your next slide. You can see here that in choosing a smart buy, you don't just have to choose shopping credits. You can actually choose to order different preset smart buys. It could be a monthly, 2 bottles, a monthly toothpaste. You can actually customize in your back office what you want to set up, right? But at the very least, you want to set yourself up with, the very minimum 150 smart buy per month. And a good thing to do is to ask your team members, hey, by the way, well, let's look at your family, right? You got mom, you got dad, you got the children. Well, how many toothpaste would you want per month? Or how much, FOL? How about the shampoo? How about the Sterling, right? So you can actually help your new people customize their smart buy
Or of course, just choose a shopping credits, which is very, very, very easy. Okay. And so on to the next slide. So again, you can see here that we have shopping credit options. Now, by the way, the $35 shopping credit has now been discontinued. Okay, so that's no longer actually there anymore. The other option, of course, is $75 shopping credits, $150, or the $250 shopping credits. Quick question, okay? If you're a lifestyle advisor and you're only paying the $75 shopping credit, okay, what happens for you? If you're in LA, but you're only paying $75, what happens is you won't be able to earn the full commissions. Okay. Now you're earning as if you are a brand partner. Yes, you also don't get the 10% discount. So at the very least, you want to educate your new people to be on the 150 shopping credits or the Smart Buy. And now for the people, question for you, why would you want to be on your 250 Smart Buy? Yes, thank you, Yulia. You don't get the CV on your second and third business center. We do get 3 business centers. Very, very good. So the 150 shopping credit actually keeps the volume on all 3 of your business centers. And yes, I just saw the answer there. The 250 shopping credit, which again, most people I think would spend monthly 250 anyways. Myself, I've got 2 boys, myself, Heidi. We're gonna get at least 4 bottles of FOL. We've got our toothpaste, we've got our, my shampoo, body wash, conditioner, very flawless. So when you add that all up together, you're way over 250. But yes, by being on your monthly 250, okay, you will now be able to qualify for the variance bonus, which is a huge, huge, huge bonus, of course, that we have. And if you don't know what that is, that's okay, because you're going to learn that. It has so many YouTube videos on how to learn about the compensation plan. Okay. So there's one thing I do want to remind people, right? When you're a new person gets started, you're going to help them choose their subscription. So when you first launch, you'll choose LA Plus or LA. And then, of course, you're going to choose your subscription. The subscription is important for your commissions. If you put $0 there, yet you have your Smart Buy set up, you still don't have a subscription for your commission. So rule of thumb, always make sure you do choose the 150 or 250 subscription when you first launch. Tell your new partners that. And of course, make sure you set up your Smart Buy, okay? Again, don't forget, when you set up your Smart Buy in the back office, there's option 7 and option number 8, okay? Make sure you just always set those 2 options for every new partner, because I don't want to get into that training, but it's very important that you do set up Smart Buy option number 7, and of course, Smart Buy option number 8, all right? On to the next commandment is to download, of course, the mobile app. Constantly we are launching more and more new features onto the Opulence app. It's actually a very, very convenient way to doing the most basic activities in your back office, such as checking your volume, ordering products, managing your payment system, your credit cards. But of course, for more advanced things, then you want to still use the actual website, okay? So that's commandment number 3. And of course, commandment number 4, funny enough, we have a lot of people that still don't actually know this, is after they actually launch their business, they forget to spin the wheel on the mobile app to win a free prize. And so again, what's really important here is whenever you launch a new partner, you won't forget to do the wheel if you make sure you schedule to go over the next 30 days training with your brand new person. So if you have a brand new person that just got launched, okay, how long do you think you should wait until you go over this training? That's also available, of course, in your prosperity book. But question for you guys, right? How long should we wait till we go over this training with our brand new partners? Should we wait a week? Should we wait a month? A few years for some people? Right? Let's see your answers here, team. How soon should you go over this training? Yeah, and the answer is literally as soon as possible, right? As soon as possible. Because why would you want to have your person start off on the wrong foot, right? Now, what I love, of course, about our prosperity book is it has the very first chapter is the perfect launch. Okay, you can't see me because I'm on the camera here, but the very first chapter is called the perfect launch. And so, you should have your own copy. And the second a brand new person gets started, even before they receive their welcome kit with this over here, okay, you should use your copy, meet up with them, and go over the perfect launch, right? Now, of course, it's also available, all of these trainings in your where are all these documents available in? Okay, it's going to be available, of course, in your back office, right? So that's number 4, to make sure they do spin their wheel for the free gift, okay? Commandment number 5 is, sometimes you might not be available and they have questions, right? Do you want to strand your person and have them wondering, when they're going to hear from you? No, right? You want to be there. Think of a brand new partner, I guess, analogy wise, like a brand new baby you just popped out, right? Would you leave that baby on the floor to feed itself, to change its own diapers, and to start walking and start talking? Of course not, right? You go to jail for that, for heaven's sake, right? You can't just pop a baby out and just leave it on the floor on the sidewalk, right? You've got to make sure you nurture and take care of that baby, right? So, again, we're all adults here. So what I mean though is you want to make sure that you take good care of them, because the funny thing is how someone gets started in their business and how you teach them becomes the norm. That's the rule of thumb. What you do, how the saying go? What you do duplicates. The good things you do, your team will do. The bad things you do, your team will do. The monkey see, monkey do, right? So if you don't start off your team correctly, then what's going to happen is they're going to believe that however they got in is the right way of doing the business, right? So again, make sure you set yourself up and your new partners with their contact list. So again, in your welcome kit, they have a little small business card that has all these phone numbers there. But make sure you have your person save these numbers into their phones, right? Make sure you have, of course, the WhatsApp numbers for the customer service PBS, for the product department, right? For the shipping department, on how to order products. So make sure people save all of these contacts, of course, onto their phones, right? So on to the next commandment here is to make sure, of course, that they follow the company on social media. So here's the thing. Are you going to be able to, and do you want to be the one to try to send daily updates to your people? Can you do that? Can you manage sending updates to your whole entire team, right? Again, it's not duplicatable, but by having your people follow the company on social media, that's making your life so much easier, right? That means every single time that our company's, Opulence GL Instagram makes a new post, or on Facebook, that your people will probably see these posts. So it's really important that you and your team members get yourself, of course, plugged in onto all of the Instagram, Facebook, okay? We also have the Opulence Global Nation official private Facebook group. So if you're not on these groups, ask your My5 right now, hey, can you add me to these groups, right? To get you into those groups. And of course, we do have our own My5 support system. So make sure that your sponsor, or you, if you are the sponsor, that you do create your team's My5. So you can see here that we have many different social media accounts, and you can also, follow on Instagram. There's 4 of them right there. We've got our Facebook pages like Opulence Global, the Forensic Networker Nation, the Exit Exchange IO. Of course, we have the Fountain of Life official testimonial page, the Safe Home Revolution, of course, Facebook page. And of course, join our Facebook private only group called the Opulence Global Nation Official. Beyond that, of course, don't forget we have our YouTube channels, of course, too, where we have all of these trainings put on live. So, have you visited the company's YouTube channel? Have you watched all of those trainings, right? So again, if you are new in the business and you're coming on board and you want to make money and you haven't even spent time training, you haven't gone to university, you haven't gone to college yet, right? How do you expect to do well in this business, right? Okay. Commandment number 7, of course, is to make sure you register for the iPayout in True Cash. So for most people, it's not going to be iPayout. We have actually moved away from True Cash because iPayout is like an all-in-one company. You can get paid out into your local bank accounts anywhere in the world. So make sure you help your person, of course, click on the financials button in your back office. You click on iPayout and then iPayout registration. You can fill in the first few fields, and that's going to get you set up you will receive a welcome email to then get you set up on iPayout, where you can now add your bank account, where you can move your commissions into, again, any bank account in the world. That's what's beautiful about our company, is that you can build yourself into any country and always get paid. All right, commandment number 8, of course, is to meet your My 5. And I was saying this earlier on, which is every single person that's in your team, ask a question, right? Do they have their My 5 created? And the My 5, what is the importance, team, here of the My 5? Just going to ask you guys a quick question. What's the importance of having a My 5 system? So you just got started, or you just launched a new partner, and they have questions, they can't find you, they get demotivated, you're busy, your business slows down, your business stops, right? Yes, we have a concept, as Raymond just said, which is that there's no member left behind. And so every single new person will and should have their My 5 created. So the sponsor will create a group with their new business partner, and they should know, again, who are the supporting business partners above them who are going to be part of their My 5. So again, if you don't have your My 5, just really quickly get in touch with your sponsor and ask them, hey, where's my My 5? If your sponsor doesn't know what a My 5 is, or doesn't have their My 5, ask them, hey, I want you to call your sponsor and ask them the same question, where is my My 5? And if you can't find anybody, don't worry. Call the company's number. They will find out exactly where you are in the system, and again, help you get connected to whoever will be as part of your My 5 group, okay? This is one of the most brilliant things that we've created in the company, where you've got people perhaps all over the world in different time zones able to support you. And so what's one quick question for you guys, right? Let's say there's 5 active uplines and you have 1 new partner, right? What's the importance of having a My 5 where one question can be posted in a group with qualified upline business partners, and they can all see the question you posted? Or would you rather have the question being sent individually to 5 different people, and the 5 different uplines don't know that the other 4 uplines have already supported and answered that question, right? It's all about being efficiency. So again, you want to make sure that whenever your new people have questions, let them ask their questions back in the My 5, because that way, you're creating proper duplication. Again, what you do duplicates, right? So if you're answering every question directly to them, then they're going to answer every question directly with their people, and they might not be available. But by you making sure that they ask every question in their My 5, now they're learning the right system, and now you have a proper system that is duplicating, okay? So again, it's not just 5 people. It could be more than 5 people, but we just call it the My 5 because on average, you'll get about 5 people. Commandment number 9 is to study the prosperity book. So that's where, again, every single time you get launched, you get a beautiful welcome kit that looks exactly like that on the screen. You have the contact numbers. You have, again, the prosperity book. You have the media accolades. You have the Fairy Flawless. You've got the lookbooks. You got the brochures. Again, it's a perfect way, because, again, in our business, I can tell you one thing. If I were to ask you what kind of a business are we in, right? are we, one of the things I like to tell people is that we are in the show and tell business, right? If you're just trying to tell everything verbally and say things verbally, that again is not duplicatable. But it's easier to show someone something and just essentially read off what you're showing them, right? So in other words, always use the tools. So one of the things you want to become really good at in this company is always, whenever someone asks you a question, try to refer them back to the document that will have that answer. Does that make sense, team? So if someone were to ask me, Renee, how does the team commissions work? I could try to leave a voice note, and record that myself. Or do you think it'd be better to send a link to the comp plan PDF, to send a link to some YouTube videos of different leaders doing a nice breakdown of the comp plan simplified? We have two, we have the comp plan simplified, and we have the comp plan detailed, right? So, because I can tell you one thing, if you answer one question, do you think there'll be more questions? Let's say I asked you, Renee, how does the binary system work? Do you think you can really explain that in a voice note, and that once you explain it, you won't have any other questions? I can guarantee you, they're going to have like 50 other questions. Well, what's CV? What do you mean by cycles? What's this power cycle? Well, what's that map? Well, how's this variance bonus, right? So isn't it better that we set the expectation for our teams? Look, if you want to know the answer, just watch this video, because it's going to answer that question and a lot more. And again, the key word here is it's duplicatable. All right. So, as they always say, right? You can teach a man how to fish, and what happens, right? He won't just eat for a day. He'll learn to fish and feed his whole family, right? So never give a man a fish, teach a man how to fish. Okay. So yeah, if you give him a fish to eat for a day, teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. So the 10th commandment, of course, really important, is to join our weekly webinars. May I do something quickly with all of you? There's something that I always do with all of my partners as part of this commandment number 10. And I do believe it's going to serve you very, very well. And as part of the slide here, there's 3 questions I always love to ask all of my new partners. And may I share these 3 questions with you? The 3 questions I actually shared with Ifra when we were together in Atlanta. And I guess she really loved it. And she actually trained it the very next day when she was in Minnesota. So the 3 questions I always ask. First question is, how much do you want to earn per month to make this worth your time? What is your monthly income goal? First question. How much do you want to earn per month? First question. They might say 1,000, 500, 2,000, 3,000. Great. You'll see why we're asking that question. Okay. What do you think? Some of you might have heard my training before, but what's the second question that you want to ask? So first question was, how much do you want to earn per month? And if no one's ever asked you this question, I want you to write the answers down yourself. Okay. Yes, Sandra Bedard knows. The second question is, how many hours per week are you going to devote to the business to achieve the income you asked for? So how many hours per week is the second question. Again, if you said you want to make 5,000 a month, and now you're telling me you're willing to work 2 hours per week, I say you have a better chance in winning the lottery. It's very unlikely, right? And if you see someone write something ridiculous like that, ask them a question. To make $5,000 a month, 2 hours a week, that means you're making $2,500 per hour, per week, right? So this is times by 4. That means you're working about 8 hours a month to make $5,000. I would ask them, do you know any job right now that you can do, where you can work 2 hours a week or 8 hours a month and make 5,000 per month? Do you know of a job like that? Right? So again, I'm trying to help our people become realistic. This is not some get rich overnight thing, right? Okay. And what do you think is the third question for some of you who have heard my training before? So the first question is, how much money do I make per month? Second question is, how many hours per week are you willing to work to achieve the answer in number one? And the third question is, and I get to see your third question. For how many years? Wow. How many years are you willing to do that for? And this question I find really sets the foundation strong. At the very least, if they're thinking that this is some get rich quick thing overnight, now they realize, okay, this is actually a serious business. And more importantly, when they start, now they have the mindset that this is actually a real business and it takes time. They won't, work it for a weekend. Maybe they call 10 people, 9 are not available, one says no, one says not interested, whatever, and now they want to quit because they realize this is not, Rome was not built in a night, in a fortnight, right? It's a long-term business. And I love asking that question because it's really telling people, hey, we have a business here that you got to devote some time. So I like to add that to the previous slide, only because now, if you actually just go back one slide, please, and thank you so much. The reason why is because now, if they told you, oh, sorry, go back 2 slides now. Because what happens here is, let's say they now know that they want to work, let's say, they want to make 5,000 a month and they're willing to work, let's say 15 to 20 hours a week, right? Over the next 2 to 5 years. So the question is, well, do you know what to tell your person on how to spend those hours? So your person told you, okay, I'm going to work 10 to 15 hours per week. Great. Well, do you know how to teach your person on what to be doing in those 10 to 15 hours? Let me ask you guys, what do you think our new people should be doing with those 10 or 15 or whatever they wrote, right? Wouldn't it be good to help break it down to your person where they should be spending their time? Of course. So here we go. Monday, 8 p.m., product crossfire. Tuesday, 9 p.m., forensic networker call. Saturday, 10 a.m., this call right now, right? Then we have 30 plus online tours and live tours. So at the very least, in my opinion, someone should be able to spend, at least a few hours per week. So here we already have 3 hours, Monday, 8 p.m., Tuesday, 9 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m., right? Because they need to learn. They need to learn. And these calls will help you motivate your new person, okay? Quick question, aside from these training calls, what else do you think you should be teaching your new person to do? Aside from being on training calls. So training is good, right? Training is important. But if we don't take into action what we learn, does it help our new people? Yes, Raymond said the right word. It's application. We must apply what they have learned, right? And so again, going back to the prosperity book, I love the fact that in the perfect launch, it has a spot where it talks to you about the scripts and of course, making your list. All right. So again, I just want to pause at number 10 because those are the 3 questions I love to ask my new person every time they get started because it's realistic. I can also give them now an idea of where to spend their time. And so there's more, of course, we're going to teach them, but let's move on to, of course, commandment number 11. All right. Number 11, of course, is your promise list. This is also very important, right? And a promise represents your word versus goals that represent your wish. So, a wish is different than your word, okay? And a promise is like your word. And so you want to make sure that you have, of course, targets set up here. Because a promise list is personal, right? It's for you. It's what you are promising to do in order to maybe have a backup for your job insecurity, to have more income, to pay off your debts, to decrease stress, right? Have more family time. And you want to help your new person make their promise list. And the promise list sounds like this. It sounds like this. I promise to commit those hours per week that I told you over the next 2 to 5 years to achieve the income I wrote in answer number 1. So the promise is going to refer back to the 3 questions that I just asked you in number 10. And so mine might sound like, no, I promise to work 15 hours a week for, the next 2 to 5 years, at least 2 years, in order to achieve $5,000 per month. So that, and that will then allow me to quit my job, put more time into this business, decrease my stress, have more family time in the future, to buy my first home, to have my first car, to buy that, BMW M5 or that Tesla, to help pay down my kids' tuitions, to help my parents, to donate to this charity. It's all about you. It's very personal. Okay. So can you see how by starting your new people off with this kind of a training, how different it is now for that new person, right? They're not thinking this is just some kind of a business where I'm just gonna kind of dabble in it, give it a try, and figure my way through it, and turn left, maybe get lost, and turn right, maybe get lost. We're giving them a GPS to success. Oh, I love that, GPS to success, right? We're setting them up properly in this business. Okay, and so what do you think we should do with this promise list? Well, I think you should keep a copy. That would be nice, right? But I love to tell my new people, hey, I want you to put your promise list onto your washroom mirror, right? Put this promise list onto your washroom mirror. And I want you to read it every single morning when you brush your teeth, every single at night when you go to bed, you brush your teeth. I want you to read what your promise was and hold yourself accountable. All right, let's move on to commandment number 12. Is get your MO box, okay, their method of operation, or the $1 million box. And so again, one of the biggest things here that I tell my new person is, if you wanted to make a few $1,000s per month, you could probably do it just by selling some products and doing some basic training. But if you want to build yourself a $1 million business, you need to have a system. It only makes sense, right? You gotta have a proper system and a very disciplined system to make $1 million business. You can't be forgetting who your prospects were. You can't be forgetting about a key prospect. You can't be forgetting about your new partner because you launched 2 more afterwards. You can't be forgetting a customer that you sold a family pack to a year later. You can't be forgetting these people. And the best way I explain this to my new person is I ask them a question. I say, hey, you ever go to the dentist or like your eye doctor, and you go to the secretary or the reception? What do you always see behind the reception? There's a whole wall full of shelves, right? Or cabinets. And what do you think is inside these shelves? Let's see your answers, folks. Files. Yeah, files. And what does every file represent? What does each file have inside? Yeah, contacts, customers, records, right? When you go to the doctor, hopefully you don't have to because we have Fountain of Life, right? But if you're going to the doctor, for example, again, like my kids, right? When they're younger, you got to do these shots so you can go back, right? They open up the file and they know exactly where they left off with you or your children. They know exactly which booster shot or vaccine, hopefully no more vaccines, but they know exactly which shot you got and they know your health condition, right? So you have to know that for your people. You got to keep track. Okay, well, this customer bought Fountain of Life because they had high cholesterol, but I found out that their mom had diabetes. That you want to write this stuff down. Or this person is looking for a side income, because I can promise you, you can prospect every single day and get a million contacts, but if you do not keep track of those contacts, it doesn't make a difference because you're going to forget, right? So you got to keep in track of, especially when you're just starting off and you only have maybe a handful of team members. Really, if you haven't reached a few hundred team members, you should be keeping a tab on every single person in your team, right? And so I just tell my person in this training on commandment number 12, the example of a doctor or dentist. They will track every single clientele, and you must do the same thing as well. We're in a professional business here. Okay. So on to the next part here. The next 30 days, the success process. So now we're getting into the itty-gritty, right? How do you spend your time? Okay, we talked about the 3 questions, right? How many hours do you want to work per week? Well, what are you going to tell your person to do in those hours? So again, this is a cycle, okay? First of all, have your prospect list because you have to have someone to call or someone to talk to. Second step is follow the script. What are you going to say, right? You got to say something. Well, we have scripts for you to know what to say. The third thing is, well, once they're curious, you got to present to them the information properly, right? With a PowerPoint or some kind of slides or paper. Do you think it makes sense to do a presentation verbally with no slides? Can you even do that? And more importantly, maybe you can. I think I can probably pull off doing the whole presentation in my head for someone, but do you think that's doing me any good, let alone them any good? No. Are they duplicating? No. Can they do what I do? They probably get scared. Wow, if that's what I have to do, I can't do that. Renee's, or Tony's too great. I can't do that. It's all about duplication. And yes, it's not professional. Any corporate meeting you go to, do you ever see a presentation without slides or tools? Right? You've always got to have a proper presentation. Okay. So book someone. So don't try to do the presentation over the phone because it's not going to be effective. At least try to meet whenever you can, try to meet them face to face. If that doesn't work, schedule a Zoom meeting and do the presentation over Zoom. Okay. But again, in either which way you choose, you're still using a proper presentation you're using the proper slides to do the presentation for the product or for the business, okay, or for both. After you present, okay, definitely you want to do the follow-up and ask for referrals. Maybe you're doing a presentation for someone who only care about products and you sold some products. Fantastic. Why don't you ask for some referrals, right? I mean, the referral business is a lot easier than you trying to find new customers yourself. So if you all have customers who are using your products, and I know a lot of you have people who are using your products already, have you asked them for referrals? That's just easy extra business for you. And why do you think it's easy to ask a current customer who's already using your product for referrals? Why is that easy? Let's see what the answers are here. Yeah, you have like and trust with that person. What else? Why is it easy to ask a current customer for referrals? Someone who's used your product already versus someone that has not used your product before. I mean, I just answered the question because they've already used the product, right? If someone has already used the product, they know it's good. So now when they call their people to refer to you, you have that credibility, that third-party credibility, as Ifra said, because they've already used it. And when they call their friends, they say, "Hey, by the way, I want to refer, a friend of mine to you who sells this product called Fountain of Life because it really helped me." I mean, they're already doing the selling for you because they're already using the product, right? So one of your things that you want to do as well in the hours you designated for how you spend your business is ask for what? Aside from prospecting, you have customers, you want to ask for referral. That's a Chinese version. Referral. Okay. I'm kidding. I don't have fun when I'm training. Actually getting a little bit hungry, so I'm trying to, keep myself pumped up here, right? Okay. Ask for referral. All right. Yeah. Ask for referrals, right? Very important. Okay. It's Saturday morning, we gotta have some fun, right? Okay. And of course, the last part of it is follow the system and duplicate. So teach this system to your team. All right. And again, all of this stuff here is in your prosperity book, right? They have different scripts here, right? And so we have so many scripts that you can use on how to talk to someone. But again, the easiest thing to do is just post testimonials, share testimonials, right? So here's the thing, folks. I'm gonna take it one step deeper with you here, one step deeper. You want to ask your person if they have experience in selling products or in building a business. Ask that question. If you don't ask, are you just going to assume that your person knows what to say? That's a big risk, right? I'd rather set them up to know what to say so they don't screw things up, right? So that's where, again, you want to make sure you go over this prosperity book. And for a brand new person, especially has no experience, make sure you go over the scripts, right? So we can see here, they have different scripts already pre-made for you here, and you want to go over the scripts, have your person practice their scripts, do the 2-minute story. Like you literally need to follow this book, right? See here, it's called booking scripts. All right. So there's different scripts. There's scripts for selling the product. There's scripts for booking a meeting. There's all different kinds of scripts you can use. Okay. And then you also want to teach them on how to post these stories on their Facebook page or on social media, right? Like guide them a bit further on so they have, like, if you can help your person essentially sell their first product or sell their first bottle of Fountain of Life, you've done a great job. But if you launch a brand new person and weeks have gone by, they've not sold a product, they've not booked a meeting, then you didn't really do a good job in setting them up. Does that make sense, team? Right? Set them up for success. Okay. So I hope all this is making a lot of sense now. I see some new people get started and they're green as grass. And I just hope that their sponsor is doing a good job on teaching them on how to prospect. I have a video on my own Facebook page on how I prospect, right? How do I use the brochures? What do I say to people? Okay. So at least use that if but again, follow this prosperity book. All right, on to the next slide here. Thank you. So again, here's where we want to make sure that as part of the hours spent in their business, that they make a list. Again, these are the files, right, behind the doctor or dentist's shelves, right? This is their database. This is their assets. The same way that the dentist tracks their contacts. In fact, every business in the world keeps their contacts, right? If you ever bought something online, guess what? They're keeping your contact. They know what you bought. They know what to upsell you later on, right? Every business, the car mechanics, I don't know, every professional business does this, right? So help your people, take some time to have them make their list, right? And honestly, I think it helps to be there with them and have them start writing down in this book their actual list of people. Okay, so on to the next page. So here we go. We're talking about it before, different kinds of scripts that you can use. So I recall that the first script that I said when I first got started, and people always ask me, Renee, how did you do this business when it's just fashion, right? And I wasn't a fashion guy, right? Here is literally what I did. So I would either call my friends or text them, because yes, I'm not that old. We had texting back then. We're texting on these not smartphones. It's like go to the keyboard and you hit like 3 times to get S or 4 times to get W. Anyways, but I was texting, and what I said was, I said, hey John, what's going on, bro? Long time no see. What's new with you? And he would say, doesn't matter what they say. Then I would just say, I said, well, hey, by the way, I've been meaning to talk to you about this business idea that I have. Are you free for a coffee sometimes? That was it. That's literally all I did. I said, hey, John, been meaning to talk to you about this business idea that I have. Oh, what's it about, Renee? Well, I'm at work right now. It's not a really good time, but can we meet for coffee? Coffee's on me. That's literally all I did. When we meet up, I showed them the business, and it's either yes or no. And I repeat it. Repeat that process over and over and over again. Of course, nowadays it's a lot easier because you have products too. You can actually share testimonials, right? I mean, if you just posted something about diabetes on one of our testimonials on your Facebook page, you might get people coming after you. Oh, no, Renee, what's that? Can you tell me more about that, right? Oh, that beautiful hair photo. How'd that happen? Can you tell me more? Anyone who likes your posts on your social media posting for your stories, what do you think you should do? Should you just stare at that like, oh, okay, John, Mary, Bob like my post? And should I just sit there and be like, oh, yeah, that's nice. I got 3 likes. Or should I actually send a message to these people who like my post and be like, hey, John, thanks so much for liking my post. How are things going? Start a private conversation and you can lead into it. Oh, John, by the way, was there something that really appealed to you about that post on the hair? Like, do you know someone who's dealing with hair issues? Start opening up that conversation, right? And so the best way I think to help you explain to have success in this business is always be conversing, like the ABCs, right? Always be having conversations. Well, that's ABHC actually. I'm just kidding, right? ABC, right? Always be. Oh, let's do the Chinese way. Always be conversation. Okay, always be conversation. Okay, you always want to be having non-stop conversations. All right. Hopefully that will stick in your head because of this Chinese accent. But that I was actually born in Toronto. I actually had to learn my Chinese accent, so it's not easy. Anyways, my whole point is, just always be doing conversationals. Yeah, always be conversational. Thank you, Raymond. You see, I had to have Raymond from the Philippines teach me my English, right? Always be conversational and always be doing it all day long, right? Oh, here's what ABCD, always be conversational daily. One ABCD, right? Always be conversationally daily. Every day, be having those conversations, okay? We're gonna add E, always be having conversations daily, excited. You must be excited having conversation. You cannot be bored, right? Can't be, oh, hey, John, I have this product that can really help you. No, right? Always be conversationally, daily, excitedly. Okay, something's wrong with my grammar there, but I think you get the point. Okay, so here's some scripts, right? And pick the script that works for you. And now you guys start working those hours per week. You said how many hours you're gonna work per week. You gotta teach people, start doing those phone calls, texting with the script, start posting, doing all these things, right? All right, so again, it's all about IGA or income generating activities. So here's some, again, some other scripts you can use. I just gave you one that I used earlier on. Again, you can kind of decide what script to use depending on what is your personality and what is the personality of your prospect, right? Here's one. Hi, Jack. We need to get together and talk about a new project I'm working on. I'm putting a launch team together to bring this project to life. I want to sit down with you and talk about it. Now, this to me, just to be honest, would work well for someone who's like a maybe like a professional job, like a manager or like a senior person that has the respect, right? Like, do I think that this would work for a stay-at-home mom who hasn't worked for 20 years? I don't know. I don't think it would be a great script for that. I could think of another script that would be better for that, right? So that's where you want to look at all the scripts that we have and decide, hey, which one might actually, work for you, right? And say, end of the day, just decide your script, make those phone calls, send those texts, right? It could be, oh, hey, Mary, it's Susan here. Okay, so I'm Susan now, by the way. Okay, it's a good example. I'm Susan. Hi, and recently I've been, I've been working. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm so busy, and I really thought about, making some extra money on the side. And I found this product that I want to bring into the country and start distributing it. And I want to get your thoughts on what you think about this product. Now, maybe it doesn't sound too feminine, but I think I get my point, right? I want you to pick a script that works well for you, that suits your situation, right? Again, so again, you really have to just take some time and develop that and talk to your Mi-Fi. Ask your Mi-Fi, hey, can you help me with the script that works for me? So you got the script, right? In terms of mental preparation, remember, on the phone call or the texting, you're not there to do the whole presentation. You're just there to pique the interest and try to schedule a time to do a proper presentation, either in person or online. Does that make sense? Repeat, do not do the presentation over the phone. Verbally, we must use the presentation, right? So remember, don't say too much. Be prepared and sound confident. Don't be afraid to call, because again, mentally, and a good mindset to have is we're simply sharing information. All I care is that I make the phone call and that I offer the information. I don't care if they say yes or they say no. Why do I not care? Because I can't control that. I cannot control if they will say yes or they will say no. What I can control is doing my duties, which is to make that phone call and just share the information. So if you contact 10 people each day, over 10 days, you would have called 100 people. And again, on your list that you have, hopefully there's a few hundred people. And guess what? Always be adding more people to that list. So it's not like once you call 100 people, yeah, you can start at one and call 100 people and keep calling those same 100 people, right? You want to follow up, because sometimes you will get no's. As we always say, no doesn't mean never. No just means not now. And yes, please don't get emotional. Like today, actually, the reason why I was driving in the car was because Leon, my younger son, got invited to a Nike transition tournament. He played yesterday's first round and he won. And today he was playing his second round, but he got really emotional on the court. I would clap for yesterday's game. Today, I was like strangle him. I just want to pick him up. I'm just kidding. I'll never do that. I love my children. Asian, despite the rumors, Asian people don't beat their children. Not all of us, at least. But anyways, he got really emotional, and I could just tell that if he wasn't able to control his emotions, he's going to lose the game. And unfortunately, he didn't really maintain his emotion until the very end. And it's a bit too late by then, right? So so again, just don't have emotions. Don't be emotional. You will get no's. Again, it's nothing personal, right? And the good way to think about this is this, right? Do you think there's any business in the world where the salespeople who do that business have never gotten a no? By the way, when you ask a girl to go out with you or you ask a guy on a date, have you gotten no's before? I got too many no's when I was trying to get a girlfriend. But you know what? It made me stronger. Because, I knew that one day, if I keep asking, I might get a yes, right? But you don't get your first no and quit dating, do you? You know, become a monk and live on the the Tibet mountains and I don't know, do kung fu. No, right? You don't get one no and you just stop wanting to find a spouse, whatever. No, you keep on going, right? So in this business, you will get no's. You don't quit. You don't get emotional. It's just part of the business, and you move on, right? I can guarantee you, every single person in this world that has ever made a gosh load of money has gotten a billion no's. Elon Musk, do you know how many no's he got? He's trying to ask for millions of dollars for investments, right? He's gotten no's, right? You know, Facebook, Instagram, all of these owners and creators have all gotten no's. So, drop your ego, just be prepared to get no's because it's going to happen. We're only human. Okay. All right. I think I talked enough about that. On to the next slide here. Again, a great way to keep your days busy and keeping your customers engaged is to constantly be connected to our social media stuff. So we have the Fountain of Life official Facebook page. We have of course, the Very Flawless Facebook page, right? Always, every day, go onto that page, search for something, and share it to your own social media. Like, what an easy way it is. And we call this actually the ATM method. Who's heard of the ATM method? Okay, write this down, ATM. A stands for ad, T stands for tag, and M stands for message, ATM. So what do I mean by ATM? So what I mean is the first thing you're going to do is you're going to add your some of your customers or prospects. Of course, you're going to ask them first, right? Oh, by the way, can I add you to this Facebook group that has all these amazing testimonials? Because I know you had cholesterol and there's some amazing stories about this person on cholesterol, right? Yeah. So you want to add them to the Facebook page, Fountain of Life Official. You're going to join. And if you know this person is dealing with hair issues, you want to find a hair post and you want to tag them in that hair post. Does that make sense? So you can either go and screenshot the hair post and send it to them, but the better thing to do is to add them into the Facebook page because now whenever we do a new post of a new story, they're going to see it automatically without you having to do it. It's going to pop up on their feed, right? So you add them, you tag them. So in the post for hair, for example, I'll put the @ sign, and I type the person's name and tag them into that post. And the last step is to message them. So once you actually tag them, you write a message. Hey, John, @John, check out this post. Then I want to message them privately on the side, say, hey, John, by the way, I tagged you in that post for the hair. Did you see it? Right? Always be conversationalizing. Is that a word? Always be conversationalizing, right? Awesome. Okay, so on to the next page here. Yes, the art of telling your 2-minute story. So this is where it's also very important that you have prepared for yourself, okay, the testimonial of yourself. And so, of course, to me, there is a testimonial for your product, and then you'll have a testimonial for your business. And you will share one or the either or both, depending on your prospect. If your prospect has no interest in business, do you want to share your business testimonial? Why? Right? If your person is interested in the product, then share a product testimonial. So your 2-minute story, okay, can, again, all the 5, or is it 5 W's and 1 H? Or I forgot how it was 4 W's, whatever, who, what, where, when, why, whatever, and how, okay? So whether it's for the business or for the product, you can have the 5 W's or 4, whatever. So it's when did you first launch your business, or when did you first come across the product, okay? Product or business, when that happened. Why did you start the business, or why did you start using the product? Making sense here, right? Okay, product or business, right? Who introduced you to the business or the product? Okay, and now, of course, you will share the product testimonial or the business testimonial. Does that make sense, folks? Right? So I can do both. I could say, well, you know what? Hey, John, by the way, I noticed that maybe your hair is a little bit thinning, and I was as well too. And so basically, back in February 2018, I came across this product called the Fountain of Life, and I wanted to use it. So that's when I wanted to use it because I noticed that my own hair was starting to thin out. That's the why. I was introduced to this product by so and so, that's the who. And now my testimonial, after I used it within about 6 to 8 weeks, here's my before and after photos. Right? That's your own 2-minute story for the products, right? But I could have one for my business. It might sound like, so actually I was introduced to this business back in 2007, October by my sister. And back then I was so tired of my job. I hated my managers. I was always stressed out. I wanted to make more family. I didn't have a family yet, but I wanted to start a family eventually and have time with my family. And that's why I wanted to get started in this business. Again, my sister was the one who introduced me. And since I got started in my first week, I sold this first bottle. My first month, I made this much money. In my first year now, I quit my job, etc., 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 right? And so you all want to have your own 2-minute story pre-made because why? Why does someone want to hear your story sometimes versus, again, third-party stories are really great. Never ever stop doing third-party stories. But why is it important for you to have your own 2-minute story? Why do you think that people want to hear your 2-minute story? Why? Tell me why ain't. Oh, no, this is not Backstreet Boys time. This is, oh my, I'm so sorry. This is training time. Okay, no karaoke, Renee. Yeah, so let's see your answers here, right? Why does someone want to hear your 2-minute story? Tell me why ain't that. Okay, yeah, I don't like Backstreet Boys unless you like them too, but I don't like them if you don't like them either. So it's all good, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, yes, because they will relate to you. Okay, they will relate to you. In fact, because especially if you have good like and trust with someone, if they hear that you use the product and it worked, boom, they're sold because they like and trust you. Okay. And so, however, if you don't really have that like and trust built yet, maybe you're like strangers, it still paint a better picture for them, right? And they can see your motivation. Like you're so excited about your health changing or you made more money that you want to help everyone else do the same thing now too. Okay. So really important to also have your 2-minute story. Get all of this here inside of the prosperity book. It's all there. Okay. On to the next page here. Okay, so here's some examples of 2-minute stories. And again, I'm not going to bother reading through all of this stuff here because, again, you can find these slides, of course, right in your back office here. And you will have, the most important thing is to make your own. It's just to make your own, okay? So there's so many amazing scripts here, again, in the prosperity books. And just make sure you have your own 2-minute story properly done, all right? So on to the next slide here is we usually allow you to make some time to make your own 2-minute story, but I will ask that you can do this after the training is done so we can, finish our call sooner today, all right? And on to the next slide.
Right, so I think that is the end, Renee. Yes, that's the end.
Okay, so you know what? Whew. So actually, now that we're here, yeah, I actually knew that was the last slide. But anyhow, let's do this, right? Let's ask people to share live their 2-minute story. Again, you're not being graded. There's no, we're going to applaud for you either which way. If you're brand new, don't be shy. This is a very safe environment to practice. We're all here to learn together. We are here to support you and to help you become the best version of yourself, right? So let's get some hands being raised here and some volunteers
All right,
Who wants
Renee,
to share
before,
your product testimonial? Oh yes, please go
all
ahead.
right, before we get to that, I am seeing
Two
okay, I'm
questions.
seeing two things
I
here in the Q&A, but they don't really seem to be questions. So
Wonderful. Yeah, I thought they were more like comments than questions. Is
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
correct?
They actually are, yes. Yes. So they're
Perfect,
basically more
perfect.
so comments than questions. So I guess we can go ahead. I see Betty has her hand raised. So Betty, you can
All
go
right.
ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Betty. Welcome to the call.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful training, Renee, you did.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I
do-
will give it a try for my 2 minute story.
Okay, I'm gonna time you here. 2 minutes. All right. I'm just kidding, right? All right, go right ahead. Thank you, Betty, for stepping up to the plate. You have a very safe environment here, and take it away.
All right. Can you put the reminder for okay. I have the list just okay.
Oh yeah,
So
a timer. I can time if you want. Yeah.
my time,
No,
yes.
just go right ahead. It's actually quite a long. 2 minutes is quite a long time. You should be fine.
Okay. All right. So let me get my clock too. Let's see.
I love it. I love it.
Oops,
Yeah,
sorry.
it can't be too long because then you end up talking more than you're listening, and that might, turn off your prospect. So 2 minutes is pretty good.
Oh, okay. I heard this product last September, and as usual in the health and nutrition history in the industry, I always use myself as a test, like a 小老鼠 test, okay, tester, and then right after I heard the Fountain of Life, I start use it, and 3 weeks, and I test my result, and my sugar level start from dropping to 6.2 to 5.9, and my cholesterol dropping from 300 to 220, and my vitamin D increasing from 18.2 to 37.5. And also, this product saved my life after I in my tub jacuzzi for almost 4 hours, but I used 6 tubes right away, and I totally feel I'm live again. So those are the things that I never ever seen in my journey for the past 13 years. So,
Wow.
and answer my question, how I can find, also it's all natural. So I'm so happy. The reason I'm doing this is because my parents passed away long before they should have done, So I try to find a solution to help people, cholesterol level, diabetes, all this health issues, include cancer, will have a natural path, But this is the only thing I found for the product. So here's my 2 minute.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Actually, I want to just recognize Betty here because she's from day one, she came on board and she's just been an absolute dynamite. She's such a go-getter and she's fully committed. In fact, we have a Chinese WeChat group chat where she is constantly posting like new testimonials. She's constantly sharing, and she does not have one shy bone in her body. Like, she'll send me videos of her on the street, met someone, and has a video of them. Like I didn't know how she even got them on video. I mean, but she's just so out there that people are sharing with them, like, their issues. And she's just constantly sharing the product. And she had an amazing, not just that, but she's also sharing testimonials. So in the group chats, English and Chinese, but she's also changing and helping so many lives. Like she had someone that had, I think, like ovarian cancer stage 3 or something like that. and she's literally, saved so many people. So she's just such a big heart. And I want to just recognize Betty for, again, all that you're doing. Cannot wait to see you at the conference. I know you're actually flying down from the USA to come to our conference, and cannot wait to see you in person and to hang out with you, of course, for a few more days together. All right, thank you, Betty.
Renee, can I do one more for the 2 minutes for business?
Of course, please. Yes, go right ahead. Thank you for offering.
Okay, all right. So for me, 50 years ago, okay, I want to be a diplomat. So I went to best university in China. I was an assistant professor teaching international relations. And then I got Fulbright scholarship to come to this country. I went to Cornell University and blah, blah, blah. All this, I do the program evaluation. But all this, I found I want to be, because my mom and dad passed away, I want to be an educator without war, an educator without country board, and to see whether I can empower people to be the master of their own health and also the master creator of their own wealth. So from the 2010, I start to searching for company. And each company I get into it, because those companies just listen here and then you don't get it. Okay, you have to experience it. So I probably experienced over 10 companies, okay, and involved, and not only stay there for a couple of days or months, I stayed there for years, but I never seen a company like this. Okay, and when Renee saw me like, share this, I just feel like I really connect with the universe right now. I never be in this mood. I never be in this, I mean, from inside out. Okay, I feel like I'm myself 10 years younger than before. Okay, this is the right place for me to carry out my mission and my vision to be the leader in leading the people to live the best life they can be. So I'm very proud. And last time I did a lot of videos and things. This time I invite an digital creator director to come along with me so I can perform well by myself presentation, and she can do the recordings professionally. So I look forward to, let her to meet all our leaders from, CEO Renee and Henry and Dr. Zhou and Han Mei, everybody else, So I'm so excited to be there for the second Freedom Conference in my life of Opulence journey. Done.
Wonderful. The one thing I could maybe suggest as well, again, beautiful testimonial. What I might add for someone who perhaps is getting in, again, your prospects a lot better, is perhaps you can even share a little bit more about how you're able to perhaps sell this much product in your first week or whatever, change this person's life, make an extra $500 or $1,000. So, depending on who your person is, team, if you know that they're looking at making an extra few $100s, then you want to try to share a story of something similar to what they're looking for as well too. All right. So thank you so much, Betty, and for that amazing share. Again, we'll see you soon. And anyone else want to volunteer to share their 2-minute story? Great time to practice together right now, and we can give you some of our thoughts and help you tune your script as well too, your story. Or do we have shy people today? All right, maybe my Chinese accent scared them all away. Well, in any case, I do hope that today's training was very beneficial and you learned a lot. I know it's Saturday morning and I want you to enjoy your wonderful weekend or your evening if you're in Asia and not be too late. I know the energy is like her 11:30, 12:30 at night. So I guess we'll just close off the call for now. Again, thank you for being our wonderful host of the last few calls. We can a bit. Thank you.
You are welcome. I see Jane has her hand raised, so I'm gonna allow her to unmute. You can go ahead, Jane.
I'm sorry, it's a mistake. I wasn't planning to talk. But since I'm on the phone, I just want to share a story this morning. I just saw 3 bottles this morning. A lady who came in, she was from Italy. She looking to buy a magnesium and for health, but she doesn't have any particular health issue. But I just told her that this is a antioxidant, and somehow she bought it, and she bought 3. I also said I sent my parents too. So she said, oh, my mother is not healthy, so I want to buy her too. So it just, I think just what you're doing every day, like, because I gave to my parents, my sister, everybody to use, it's natural for me to say. So the conversation started. So finally she bought 3 for herself, her brother, and also for her mom. So that's a short story. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, that's a fantastic story, Jane, for sharing. And by the way, I also wanted to commend Jane. I've seen her very active as well recently in all of our group chats. And I do believe you're coming to conference. I think it is as well too. But so I do hope to meet you, of course, at our conference. And again, thank you for what you're doing, right? You're changing lives just like Betty and everyone else here. And it really is, again, like once you use a product and you are a product of the product, it's so much more easier to share it, right? So hence why, that's why you should use a toothpaste. You should use the Sterling, right? You should have your little tester. You should have used the shampoo and conditioner, because once you've used it, it's much more easier to naturally, innately share this with other people because you have used it yourself too, right? The flawless line, right? And folks, all I can say is before we end today's call, if you haven't got your conference tickets, you need to buy it right now. Like, it's not too late. We have a few tickets left at 159. If you wanted to come to the conference now, please get in touch with me and send me your tickets. I'm gonna put my actual email for the money transfer. If you want to buy the cheaper tickets, you can buy it at 249 online, or buy it at the 159 for myself. But again, at this conference here, if you felt that you got good value from today's training, you are just so in luck, because we have, my personal mentor and coach, the CEO of the company, Mr. Rami Masgarlu, our CEO and founder. He's going to be training you on Friday, and his training is what literally got me to where I am today. Then you have, of course, you have our CEO for a whole day on Friday for training. Then, of course, you have our senior vice president, who is my other coach and mentor in the business. She coached me from day one alongside with our CEO, and she's training on Saturday. You have other incredible leaders who'll be sharing things as well too, but it's just such a rare event. It's only 159. You're getting lunches and dinners and gala party performances. More importantly, it's a training that you need. 159 to build yourself $1 million business. It's just a no-brainer. And if you are anywhere within 4 to 5 hours driving or flying distance, book your stuff, book your flights, come in. If you're in Toronto, you're not even paying for a hotel, you better be at this event, right? Because you need to invest into yourself. Otherwise, your next 5 years won't be much different than your past 5 years, right? So anyhow, that being said, right, don't forget that we do have, for the people attending, a huge bus trip on the Sunday. So the 15th and 16th is the conference. On the 17th, the Sunday, we do have a fun bus trip. 50 people maximum on this bus, going to Niagara Falls and back. If you're gonna drive yourself to Niagara Falls on gas alone, it'd be a few $100s, right? Here it's $50. Hop on a bus. You can chit chat with different people, meet all the different leaders here, have some beverages. If you want to bring some beverages on the bus, knock yourself out too. It's gonna be a day of great fun, and more importantly, inspiration, stories. And again, thank you everyone for being on the call today. I think we have some announcements to make, and yeah, I'll turn the call back to you again. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jane.
Wow, wow, and wow. That's all I can say about the training, Renee. It was really, really, really fantastic. I love how you took your time and you went through the information, and I hope everybody took a lot of notes, even though the video will be on YouTube. I hope you took a lot of notes because we'll have to wait for a few days for it to be on YouTube. But with your notes, you can go over those over the next couple of days and you can work towards implementing all of the information, or at least some of the information that Renee shared here with us today. If you didn't get the chance to take the notes, remember throughout the call, we was talking about the prosperity booklet. So if you have time, or then again, let me rephrase that, make time and go to your prosperity booklet that's in the back office, and you can download it to any of your devices. Go through it, take your time, even if you have to start at the same 30-day training, start there, go through it, get together with your My5 or at least your sponsor, put together a script, or you can tweak some of the ones that are there and use that. We were given so much valuable information this morning. Let's rock it out, guys. We have that, and let's make it happen. All right, so now on to our announcements. Let me just share my screen here again. All right, so here we are again. Now, so we have our Asian conference coming up in November. It's the 18th to the 19th, and you'll have some very powerful leaders there. Sorry, it's in Bangkok, Thailand. Don't let me forget to mention that. So of course you'll have Renee Liao, our lifestyle director for first youngest millionaire in the company. You have our esteemed SVP Sanaz Human. We have Rico who will be there, and we'll have as well Amajit, Joycelyn, and John. So please, if you haven't taken the time to get those tickets yet, don't feel that that you have to be in Asia to be able to attend this conference. If you want to be there, go and book your ticket and get there. Events change lives, guys. Events change lives. And of course, you would have heard Renee talk about the Freedom Conference. If you still need to get a ticket, as he mentioned, connect with him. He left his email address. I'm sure his number is in practically every single chat. Either way, get him a message and let him know you want to have one of those tickets and you will be attending this conference. You're going to have speakers like, obviously, Renee himself, the CEO, the SVP, Ifra, as well as Reza. So make it your business to get him tickets. You heard him mention the bus tour. Trust me, guys, if you're going to be going to this conference, you do not want to miss the bus tour. I went on one, I had the opportunity to go on one, and I had a fantastic time. So get your tickets and get yourself to the conference. Now, as a reminder, remember, the flash sale is going to drop on Thursdays at 11 a.m. It's going to be all summer, so do not miss it. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to Opulence GL on Instagram, follow them, and get those updates and those notifications as to when this sale is going to be happening. All right, and of course, our cruise next year, February the 12th until the 16th. So if you have your partner, a spouse, even if you want to take the children, this will be a fantastic opportunity to spend that, what everybody deems as a love weekend together, not just with family, but of course with the Opulence family, who is, our adopted family. So the cruise is going to leave from Miami and it's going to depart on the 12th. So try and get yourself qualified to LD2 by December the 11th, and you can be going on this cruise with all of our leaders, and you'll get to meet some of the other Opulence family as well. So let's get it, guys. Let's get it. And of course, remember our product crossfire calls that happens every Monday. Let's not forget that. And of course, I want to thank you all for being such a fantastic audience. Thank you for all of the interaction. Again, Renee, thank you for that really, really fantastic training. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that you take this information and run with it.